In this week's broadcast, we have a dedicated show about the RailFreight Summit in Poznan. In the studio is Onno de Jong, co-moderator at the summit, and via our digital connection we have a talk with 3 of the speakers on the program. But first, we have some exciting news to share. Hello everyone, we have some exciting news. Today we have launched a Chinese version of RailFreight.com, and it is called RailFreight CN, and that's exactly how you find it online. It is more than just a Chinese version of the website. It is also a platform where we bring together professionals from both ends of the world, and naturally we are very excited about this news. Next week in RailFreight Live, you will hear more about this brand new website. But first, the RailFreight Summit. So on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of September, this summit takes place in Poznan. And we have Onno de Jong. Hi, welcome.
Hi, happy to be here with you live today.
Yes, thank you very much. And you're co-moderator at the summit. What does that mean?
Yeah, that means that, you and I together, we will guide everybody through the program. Third time already. Mm-hmm. For those who have never attended the conference before, what is it about?
Well, it's a conference about the Central and Eastern European region, and Poland is a little bit central in that story. We try to place it within an international context by looking at the new Silk Road, the 10T corridors, and the Baltic Rail Baltica project. But we also zoom in on the specific characteristics of Poland. So what are the bottlenecks? What are the things that need to be done? How to create a successful hub? How to create a successful terminal? Those are all topics that will come back in the program.
And it will be a hybrid conference. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are actually very happy that we can be there physically. That is the first time after a long while of being stuck inside a room. But we also understand that some people may not be able to travel, so we have offered a live stream ticket. So people who are not able to travel can still attend the conference by purchasing a virtual ticket. And if you can come, we of course want to see you there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Onno, you've been here with us at the summit 3 years. 3 years ago was the first edition, it was in Wrocław. Last year we were in Gdansk, and we found some interesting footage where we can see you 3 years ago. You were a speaker in Wrocław at the first edition. So we just want to have a nostalgic moment and look back at that very first edition of RailFreight Summit in Wrocław.
Yeah, well, Poland is a country with about 38 million inhabitants, so with a growing economy. There's a very good vibe in the country. You see a lot of new businesses moving.
Well, as Poland, you're located in between, so that means that either way, trains have to pass your country. And also, given the inward investment of manufacturing in Poland and also the distribution function, I think this offers a lot of opportunities for the Polish economy.
I will show what are the obstacles on the Silk Road regarding disturbances and what can be done to make the obstacles transparent to the end client.
It's important to neither underestimate nor overestimate the new Silk Road. It can be an advantage for, basically the West European economy.
We have to think about Silk Road not only as a Chinese initiative, but as a European one.
Is Duisburg equipped to handle the volumes?
Yes, for sure. This is possible because we are not only starting, we are just in an optimized process.
I don't want to say we get rid of trucks on the road because originally I'm from the Road Transport Organization, and it's very important to have our trucks running.
Well, keep on talking to each other, because I have to say I have learned more in this day that I learned from research 2 weeks beforehand.
Poland. Mr. Albergini, what have you learned?
A lot of things, I have to say. Very interesting, all the conferences, and very interesting as well the approach the speakers had with the different subjects they discussed. So congratulations for the organization.
So that was 3 years ago in Wrocław. And this year we are in Poznan. And we have the opportunity to talk to 3 of the speakers who are on the program. And first of all, I would like to introduce Kasper Briskens from Rail Baltica. Kasper, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Kaspers, you are part of a session in which we want to draw the wider international context in which Poland finds itself. And Rail Baltica is an important project which Poland also makes part of. So I would like to ask you, what is the relation between Poland and Rail Baltica and the other way around? What does it mean for Poland?
Right. Well, Poland is obviously an integral part of Rail Baltica. There are actually 2 Rail Baltica projects, so to speak, but they're, of course, very strongly connected. One is the part that we are responsible for, which is the greenfield development of a connection European gauge, ERTMS equipped. It's a mixed-use, high-speed passenger and freight line between Tallinn, capital of Estonia in the north, and the Lithuanian-Polish border. And then, of course, we are working very closely with Poland, who then develops the Polish section of Rail Baltica, which is the section between Warsaw and the Lithuanian border. The developments are already in place all the way until Białystok. And then, of course, there are sections which are then continuously being developed, including the section between Ełk and the Lithuanian border, which is probably the main missing link, which potentially will in the future be a new greenfield corridor. And we are working closely with Poland to ensure that this is fully interoperable. So in other words, having a fully seamless interoperable corridor all the way from Tallinn to Białystok and beyond.
Okay. And for those who are the project, can you maybe tell us, does that mean construction of complete new lines, or are there lines that currently need to be renewed or modernized? What are we talking about?
Well, the project that we call the Rail Baltica Global Project is entirely greenfield. So all that high-speed, double-track, ERTMS-equipped infrastructure, including 7 international stations, 4 major intermodal facilities, almost all of that is greenfield. There are, of course, as you know, railway networks already available in the Baltic states. I mean, one, of course, the primary network is the wide gauge, Russian gauge network. The other one is, of course, a small section that was built between the Polish border and Kaunas. This is not technically part of what we call Rail Baltica Global Project, but we are reviewing what possibilities are there to upgrade that line or perhaps to use elements of that line. But for from operational perspective, that line exists. It will be operationalized also in the upcoming months. And of course, when the full-fledged high-speed Rail Baltica comes, and of course, together also with Polish sections being complete, and of course, we will have full connectivity, hopefully somewhere in 7-8 years.
Right. And what are the current volumes on Rail Baltica when it comes to rail freight? The Baltic states, excuse me.
I didn't catch that.
What are the volumes between Poland and the Baltic states per year?
Well, maybe the interesting metric here is that in our cost-benefit analysis and our traffic forecasts, we see that on the border, crossing the border between Lithuania and Poland in different border crossing points, there are more than 5,000 trucks daily. So that gives you a good estimate of the volumes and the amount of freight traveling between the Baltic states and Poland. Of course, there are also freight from other regions, freight coming from the east, from Russia, even all the way to Central Asia, some Finnish freight. All of these interesting trade flows, which potentially in the future could then shift onto Rail Baltica. And of course, form a more efficient supply chain where you have, of course, the trucking industry, which is a strategic partner also for Rail Baltica, taking care of the last first mile distribution in a lower radius. And then, of course, Rail Baltica taking care of the high capacity container loads, trailer loads. We're also, of course, talking about piggybacking. So you have at least 5,000 trucks daily that you can put on rails and ensure a more environmentally sustainable, more commercially viable and cost-efficient mode of transport.
Yeah. So first, more volumes. Will there be faster transport as well if you compare it to the current rail freight transport between Poland and the Baltic states?
There is currently very limited rail freight on the corridor, and there are a number of reasons. Not just the gauge brake. Of course, currently we have an interloading factory or transloading facility in Szesztokaj on the Polish-Lithuanian border. But of course, for traditional and commercial reasons, this has not been extensively used. Of course, we are very happy to see that the rail freight corridor, North Sea Baltic, has also recently been extended to also include Latvia and Estonia. But in practice, of course, much of the trade flows between the Baltic states and the regions further east and further north are taking place either by road or by short sea shipping. So in other words, there's very limited north-south traffic for example, on the existing Russian gauge system in the Baltic states. And of course, with Rail Baltica, we want to change that not just from the infrastructural point of view by eliminating the missing link and putting in place infrastructure, but also in terms of, making sure that there's a one-stop facility, one-stop shop for users, that there is digital documentation, the procedures are aligned, the operational rules are aligned, the technical specifications are similar when it comes to signaling equipment, including onboard for the rolling stock in terms of electrification standards, and clearly in terms of capacity and axle loads. And in our case, we will be developing this greenfield infrastructure with 25-ton axle loads and infrastructure for 1,050-meter freight trains. So this will be a Europe-leading freight train length, and of course, as a greenfield project, we can accommodate that.
Yeah. And you shortly mentioned the deepsea Baltic corridor. How do you find the cooperation between the corridor and the Rail Baltica? Do they adjust their program, or do you work together to realize these goals?
Well, currently, of course, we have excellent contacts with the corridor, of course, with the infrastructure managers and railway undertakings in that corridor, and also in other corridors. It's not just the North Sea Baltic. Of course, the Baltic Adriatic corridor is interesting for us in terms of the future freight flows. But of course, currently being in advanced design phase, it is more from our side the need to engage with the future users of Rail Baltica to understand what are the particular business cases for different freight-related or passenger or logistics-related businesses in the future. And in that capacity, of course, we try to engage in a number of different formats, from rail freight corridor also to just innovation cooperation formats. So it's very important that we deliver a truly digitally native corridor that is not just about the transit flows, but also allows different value-added logistics in the intermodal facilities and around them that I mentioned.
Okay. And I can imagine that the Baltic seaports are also benefiting from this new project. Can you foresee any developments or changing patterns at the Rail Baltic seaports? At the Baltic seaports? For example, Gdansk being...
I mean, probably the best and the obvious example is the port of Tallinn, the port of Muuga. We will actually have one of the main intermodal facilities inside of the port of Tallinn, and we foresee, also according to our traffic forecasts, that this port will serve as the critical interface, as the gateway for the Finnish flows. Finland, of course, as we know, is in many ways a transportation island. 95% of its trade flows are maritime bound, oftentimes using the routes between the southern Finnish ports and the North German ports with ro-ro traffic, containerized traffic. And of course, in the future, we hope that some of that trade will trickle over to Rail Baltica with a short maritime leg to cross the Finnish Bay, and then continuous transshipment onto Rail Baltica. So from that perspective, the Port of Tallinn will certainly play a very important role. But equally so, also Port of Riga, which is currently not directly connected to Rail Baltica, but at the same time, Rail Baltica, of course, crosses the urban agglomeration of Riga. The intermodal facility in Salaspils is not far from the Port of Riga. Of course, Port of Riga has excellent 1520 railway connections, and clearly there will be some opportunities for transshipment and intermodality between Riga port and also Rail Baltica. But also in a similar fashion, along again the Russian gauge railway, the port of Klaipėda is also connected. Of course, this rail capacity has also recently been strengthened. So all three key ports in the Baltic states will definitely benefit and complement the ecosystem in and around Rail Baltica.
Yeah, and do you think that will challenge the position of Gdansk?
Well, Port of Gdansk, of course, has lots of advantages, and there have been numerous investments over the past years in generally in North Polish ports, Gdańsk, Gdynia, Szczecin. Of course, it's been very inspiring to follow those developments. Of course, we also see that because the main northwestern European hubs are working close to capacity, and with continuous expansions where possible, like Maasvlakte in Rotterdam. But we know, of course, that there are physical and environmental limits to that expansion, and they are bottlenecks in a sense. So we see also a lot of transcontinental traffic coming in, for example, to the port of Gdansk, and then continuing to serve markets also in Western Europe, in Southern Europe. Of course, the long-term perspective for the Baltic states is also kind of capture their role in the supply chains. For example, we in the east and the Scandinavian Nordic region, where of course the Baltic ports have an advantage. I already mentioned the advantage of Port of Tallinn vis-a-vis Finnish flows. There are also advantages with regard to the Swedish market, but then also generally because of the proximity of the Russian market, of the Central Asian market, connections with the Russian gauge. Of course, the Baltic state ports will also, evolve their business models, especially as we are seeing the gradual decline of the more traditional business model where Baltic states have been active, which is a transshipment of natural resources, of liquid bulk, dry bulk. In the future, of course, there should be more containers, should be more trailers, intermodality in general. And therefore, I think the Baltic states will also provide a bit of a healthy competition also to Polish ports, but also a lot of complementarity.
Okay. Well, we are very curious about your presentation in Poznan, and we hope to see you there soon. Thank you very much for contributing today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Okay. See you soon. Onno, you are... Onno, you are going to moderate another session which is also about the ports. Can you tell us a little bit more about that session?
Yeah, it's a session I'm specifically looking forward to. Given Poland's location, you can choose from many ports. You can choose ports in the Adriatic Basin. You can go for the more traditional ports like Hamburg. The Polish ports have seen a rise. And in one of the panel discussions, we will talk exactly about that. So that's why I'm really happy that this year that we also have somebody from the port of Stettin, Svinucci, on board. Mm-hmm. Because we've heard about Gdansk, we know about Gdynia, but so far we haven't covered Stettin in the program. So this is why I'm happy to announce, also in today's show, Mr. Daniel Saar, the CEO of the port of Stettin, owned by Deutsche Bahn, one of the main terminals. And if we have him live... Good afternoon. Happy that you can be here with us today. Maybe to start with a first question, what is the main reason customers choose for your terminal? What is your main advantage?
Few question. Good afternoon, everyone. I will have to say a few words about the first sentence which we just mentioned. As a Deutsche Bahn, we are the operator of one of the terminals among our area, specifically in Szczecin. And if you look to the area of the port, there is a complex of port, Szczecin and Świnoujście, which we consider as a one port. And if you ask me how we convinced our customers to join DB Port Szczecin, which is Deutsche Bahn Port Szczecin, then I will tell you the story about how good we are and how good relation with the customers we are. But this is something which I think everyone can say, and everyone has got their favorite customers and their favorite cargo. But there are also some advantages for the land, for the area which we run our port. Basically, we are 65 kilometers inside land, which gives an advantage for the cargo, especially those one which requires the good price in regards of the Szczecin area, Wielkopolska and Lubuskie. There are other advantages of our port. Basically, we are one of the most flexible and multi-cargo ports in our region. 200 pieces of different type of equipment, 60,000 of square meters of warehousing. That's also this is advantage of our company, but also we developed company quite vastly over last years. We have spent almost 200 million zloty for investments for our company, and we're still planning to spend another 100. This is the three-year plan for development of the company. And so as a company, we serve our customers. We serve the general cargo duties, container duties. Especially, we are quite good with and flexible with the additional services such as staffing and unstaffing. We are specialized in the reefer containers, and this is how the business looks around the container terminals. But as a DB Port Szczecin, we served four legs of the services: general cargo, container terminal, and project cargo and the bulk cargo. This is how we run, and this is how we convinced our clients to stay with us.
And I read the other day that you also received investments from subsidies from the European Union to further upgrade the terminal. Can you maybe tell us a little about that?
Yes, that's true. Since 2010, we've been working on the container terminal in Szczecin. As a company, we have run a container. Before we run this container terminal, we obviously had to build it up. And we have completed the first phase in 2015. And obviously with the usage of EU funds, which was around whole capacity of the project capacity in regards of the investment, that was around 80 million zloty. And now we starting a second phase of the development of the container terminal, which is another 80 million of Polish zloty of developments for the next 5 years. So on this stage, for the next 3 years, we will be developing our depots business together with the reefer stations, and we will also getting prepared, getting ready for 12.5 meters depth of the channel, which in parallel with our investment, Polish government construct this new way to Port of Szczecin.
And do you also see developments for the hinterland infrastructure, so from the port further to the hinterland destinations?
That's true. I have to say that for the last years, the Port Authority, which is our business partner, has done, and together with the Polish government, has done great things in regards of the hinterland development. However, there are still some areas which need to develop. But looking to what has been done, which is route E59, which is almost at the end of the development, which definitely will help taking cargo out of the port and bringing cargo into the port. Motorway road S3 together and with S6, which has also been developed. And what is the most important for our region? This is the thing which I just mentioned, the depthening of the Piastowski Channel. This is the 65 kilometers waterway, which at the moment is under construction to get the final depth of 12.5 meters. And that will give a new fresh air and definitely the new cargo for our port.
What do you think about the development of the new deep-sea terminal further into the Baltic Sea? Because I saw that the planning process is going on. Will there be any position for DB in there, or?
Well, this is things which we are discussing with Port Authority at the moment. Definitely from the rail perspective, that will be opportunity to serve some duties over there. And also, we also see as a DB Port Szczecin, as an operator, some opportunities to get in common with whoever who will be the operator over there. But so far, as I remember, the project is on the phase of choosing the method of the future tendering. So we look into this project with the perspective. We also we've been having a good discussion with the Port Authority about the future development, but we have to see when this project will be completed.
So if we look at the panel discussion, can you already enlighten us a bit? What will be your main message to the audience there?
Well, the main message, obviously, we've been as a DB Port Szczecin, we've been the part of the complex Szczecin and Świnoujście, and we've been the great opportunity for those one who's having some obstacles in the other ports, especially three cities or Hamburg and the others. We are very much connected with hinterland, and definitely in the future, our port will take a big role in this big business.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, and I really look forward to having you on stage in Poznan at the 2nd of September. But for now, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, so we are called the RailFreight Summit, but we talk ports. That is interesting. Yeah, the ports are always a very important part, of course, of the railway infrastructure, and we can't deny them. Another speaker we would like to invite to our show today is Alexandra Adamska. Alexandra is from PKP LHS, and that is the operator of the Broadcoach line into Poland. Alexandra, welcome.
Hello, hi.
Hi. I'm very glad you're here. You're also... Thank you. You're already operating the line via Slavkov, which is in the south of Poland, and now there is a second line coming up via Chelm. So I would almost think you are a Broadcoach specialist Is that correct to say?
We can, yes, because our company has existed from 2001. We are both also a line manager, the infrastructure manager, and a carrier. And through all of these years, we have gained some kind of experience also as a carrier and also as a manager of this infrastructure. And I think that now we can use this to develop some new kind of business.
Yeah. And why is Broadcoach so interesting?
I think that our line is very interesting. The first point is this, that we don't need to do some transshipment reloading on the border point. It is very useful because we are can do some custom operation very quickly, and we can take our trains, our transport till end of our line or some other railway station. The second thing is that our line, it is only for cargo traffic. We don't have any passenger traffic, so that's why it is so important. We can do everything on our line as a fracht carrier. And our trains are only for our clients, for them, their cargo, their solutions, some logistic trains, and so on. So it is also very, very important. And of course, on our line, it is some kind of plus that we can we have possibility of running the longest train, I can say, in Europe, because it is about 950 meters trains, or, for example, the heaviest train, because it is 5,000 gross tons in one train. So I think that is very important, especially for our clients.
Yeah, and I think this is all very positive news for that line itself. But what happens when that line stops? Where do the trains that are 900 meters long go? Do they find any space after they arrived in Poland?
Yes, we have 10 railway stations. We are carrying our trains to all of them. On part of our station, we have our own some reloading points, some terminals. At the end, we have Sławków station. It's a very big station. It's only station for some bulk cargo and so on, and also for container. There is a terminal Sławków when we can do a lot of transshipment of containers. So our possibility of our line are very large. I think that we are still waiting for this maximum.
Okay. And are there any other Broadcoach lines in Poland at the moment, other than these two?
Yes, there are some part of this Broadcoach line, because on all of our border points, for example, with Ukraine, with Belarus, we have some part of Broadcoach. Yes, the same is what you mean about this Dorohusk and Helm. It is also over 350 kilometers of this line, but none of them is so long as our line.
And what about Europe in general? Because this is penetrating Poland, so penetrating Europe. Are there any? Can you name any other Broadcoach lines in Europe?
I only know about this line to Košice, about some line in Vilnius, I think. But to say the truth, this kind of line is only our line. So it is some kind of let's say. I don't know, we are a specific line, let's say, in Europe.
Yeah. And is there a lot of demand for it? Would you like to see more lines like this?
I think it is need to be calculated to see what is the need of the market on this place, because our line was creating for this, what I tell you earlier about this cargo traffic, only for cargo. End of our line is in Silesia region, so it is industry region, and it needs some kind of this transport. But I think that all of this type of plans need to be calculated. There must be some business plan and so on.
Yeah. And what are the challenges you find in setting up such a line?
Once again, please.
What are the challenges you face when you set up a line like this?
I think that for us maybe it might be easier to create this line, to be the carrier on this line and to work on this line day by day, because we are one company. This infrastructure manager and a carrier, fracht carrier, is in one place, in one hand, we can say. So we can find some. It's very easy to find some weakness point and let's say to fix them and to work as a normal company. So I think that it is we don't have any problem because of that. So I think that it is most important.
What kind of problems do you need to fix? Can you name some examples?
For example, if we are seeing our colleagues from some infrastructure railway companies, we are seeing what they are doing, what they are facing. We are seeing our friends from other carrier company, and we know what is their problem day by day. And we don't have those problems. Yes, if we need to do some, some extra trains, for us, it is no problem. If a client needs some longest train, some heaviest train, we are doing this for client without any problem.
Yeah, and what about the border procedure? Because I can assume that there you do depend on third parties at the border.
Yes, of course, but we are cooperating with Polish Custom Office, also with Ukrainian railways, and I think that thanks to this very close cooperation, we have some procedure which are working very smoothly. And to say the truth, now we have very good time for some transit custom service, for some other facilities which need to be done with cargo on the border point. But I think that day by day it is getting better.
Yeah. It's quite a unique combination of an infrastructure manager and an operator. Are there any concerns from the market who find that a bit unusual or unfair or anything like that?
I think that no, because all of our clients have access to our infrastructure and to our rest of our service, and they have the same condition for all of them. And to say the truth, especially now in these difficult times, we are trying to work with all of them, and we are trying to understand the need of our clients. And it is not that that someone is not getting service from us. No, it is everyone has, we can say, the same. We are open for all the type of cooperation.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for a third line?
No.
No. Do you think that will come? Is there any possibility?
No, we have a lot of plans about developing our other service. We can say we are developing as a fracht forwarder, as on the field of this international transports, and we are also developing our custom service, our terminals, and I think that it is the main goal for now for us.
Well, I'm very curious to hear more. I'm sure you're going to tell us more about this line in September. Maybe you already have some new announcement at that time. Thank you very much for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and with that, we've come to an end of this edition of RailFreight Live. Of course, we hope to see everybody in Poznan. Oh no, I'm sure I'm going to see you there.
Definitely.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank you very much for joining us today.
Welcome.
And yes, if you like us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us there. You can follow us on the website, railfreight.com. And now, of course, also on RailFreight CN. More about that next week. See you soon.